Hey everyone, today we are going to unbox this cooler, which is the Snowman MT6S. It is a cooler I purchased from AliExpress and it costed me around $29 if I remember correctly. It arrived to my house in about 2 weeks and to be honest I am very surprised on how fast it came. And well, we are going to do some testing and right now we are going to proceed with the unboxing. At first I thought that the heat pipes were damaged or something. I thought that there might be a hole and the liquid might have evaporated through it. But yeah, now it's installation time. Got to say that the installation was a bit tricky, well, complicated, I would say, because first of all, you have to bend this metal bracket in order to fit it into the stock installation mount. You need the stock installation mount that came with your motherboard, otherwise you won't be able to install it. And you have to put a lot of force into it in order to fit. Can damage your CPU if you don't apply it correctly, I think. So yeah, be careful if you are going to install it. Once I connected everything correctly, I proceeded to do some testing with Cinebench R23, which is the latest version. As you all may have noticed, I got the Ryzen 7 3800X, which is a hot chip. Maybe not as hot as Intel's 10th gen, but yeah, it takes a lot of cooling power in order to cool it down. And I compared thermals with the AMD Wraith Prism, which is the cooler I had before, and well, the results are the following. So first we'll start with the AMD cooler. So in temperature we start at 75 degrees, which is quite high, and then it starts climbing up to 81 degrees, which is a very high temperature, especially on Ryzen CPUs, which are very temperature dependent. So we'll see the consequences of these temperatures ahead when I show you the graph of the frequencies. With the snowman cooler, we notice that the temperature starts relatively close as what the AMD cooler did. We start at 73 degrees, 73.3 degrees Celsius, and then it starts climbing up to 74 degrees, and that's the max temperature this cooler will reach. It is a noticeable improvement from the almost 81 degrees the AMD cooler reaches, which is, well, a difference that is mostly because of the amount of heat pipes this CPU cooler has. But yeah, it's a lot of difference, especially with Ryzen CPUs, as I mentioned. They depend a lot on the temperature. With the frequency graph, we start with the AMD cooler. We start with a frequency of 4170 megahertz, which is not that far from the marketed 4.2 gigahertz all-core boost. And then the time passes. It was a 10-minute stress test, as I mentioned. And the frequency starts lowering to 4120 megahertz. So, yeah, it's now a bit far away from the marketed 5.2 gigahertz. But it is enough difference for us to notice a difference in the scores in Cinebench R23. So yeah, let's keep that in mind. Once we add this snowman cooler, we can notice that the frequency starts at the marketed 4.2 gigahertz, and then it starts lowering to 4180 megahertz, which is the frequency at which the AMD cooler started at. So yeah, it is a big difference, well, in Rising at least, to have 4180 instead of 4120. And lastly, I will be adding a noise test between the AMD cooler and this one. And especially through the microphone, there isn't any difference. I could not hear any difference, but if you hear it with your ear, there is difference, especially because the AMD cooler has a smaller fan. It has kind of a higher pitch, whereas this one, since it's a 120 millimeter fan, the pitch is lower, so it bothers less to the ear, especially to me because I have the PC next to me. It's noticeable. So to finalize this video, is it worth spending the $37 with this cooler? Yes, it's completely worth it. It has superior performance compared to the AMD cooler. It beats it by almost 8 degrees. If I remember correctly, yeah, by almost 8 degrees. The fan, I forgot to mention, it has addressable RGB. However, there are plenty of options to choose. I didn't choose the one with the top plate. There is one with a top plate and it looks pretty cool. Well, since I didn't want to spend more money, I went with the addressable RGB fan. And the fan, it's pretty good. However, the only drawbacks of this cooler is that it is huge. It is very, very big. If I remember correctly, it's about 15 centimeters tall. It's very big, and you need a very big case for it to fit in. So yeah, keep that in mind. And also the installing method, it is not as favorable as I would like it to be. Making a custom bracket for this cooler would make it more expensive, like for example Noctua coolers or Cooler Master. They are expensive options because they have their own mounting mechanism, And well, this may give them an advantage to the ease of installing that cooler. But yeah, if you are careful with this one, I think it will be okay. And yeah, it's a superb cooler, so maybe the risk is worth it. So thanks for watching, guys. If you have any questions, any troubles, and put them in the comments, I will delightfully answer them. And I hope you guys have a nice day. I am thinking of doing more of these videos. It's interesting, it's funny as well. So yeah, we will see.